Hi, welcome to a TurtleBurger podcast, episode 42. My name is Brittany. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's video, it has been a long time. First thing I'm going to do is announce a sock stash along winner because I forgot to do that in my last podcast. And then we'll get into some finished objects, whips of course, and then I have some acquisitions, and also I brought some yarn out to show you future projects of what I hope to be making as gift knits. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. If this is your first time at TurtleBurger, there is a Ravelry podcast group, and within that group I am hosting a year-long make-along for socks. Any socks, knit or crochet, that are used or made using yarn from before 2023, so that you've had in your stash for a long time. You can submit those that you've made this year, and right now we have, I think, between 75 and 80 submissions. Now, since I forgot to announce the winner on the last podcast in July, I went through and did April 1st to June. Does June have 30 or 31 days? June 30th. And those were, I believe, submissions 22 through 48, and the number, I used a random generator that came up, was 42. I will post a picture here, and that is Sandy. Her Ravelry username is Mystery Sewer, so congratulations, Sandy. If you will message me on Ravelry, your prize is a US $10, up to $10, so it can be multiple patterns if you want, as long as it doesn't go over $10. So let me know which pattern or patterns you would like, and I will gift those to you super quickly. Okay, so my first finished object you have seen many times before. Let's just go ahead and put them on some blockers. I should have already had this done, sorry. It has been a minute since I podcasted. I'm a little nervous. Wasn't sure I was going to come back, I'll be honest. But had a good talk with my husband, with a friend, and in prayer. And here I am. So okay, so this first finished object, these are the Shiny Bright Socks by Darcy of Chitchat Knits. These were also a summer sock camp submission since whips were allowed. I started these last, I believe, maybe November is when we tested this pattern. This is my first time ever doing color work. It is the longest or tallest sock I have made, and I dyed all this yarn myself. So let's go over some details. This was a 60 stitch sock on a US size 1, 2.25 millimeter. I'm pretty sure for the majority of it I did magic loop, but we'll get into that in a minute. So again, it was a 60 stitch count. I am fairly certain that is a twisted rib cuff. I probably did 15 to 20 rounds is what I typically do for my socks. And the yarn that I used for this is Knit Picks Muse Bear yarn, and like I said, I dyed that myself last year. Pretty sure it was maybe August. It is a 75-25 fingering weight yarn. And then color B was this bear yarn, which is also Knit Picks Muse Bear. Just a little bear yarn. And then color C is this kind of tealish blue, again, that I dyed, also Knit Picks Muse. And then the last color I used, whoops, got a hair clip in there. Okay, was this kind of purpley mauve brownish undertone kind of color. So when I did the color work section, I increased my needle size to a US size 2 2.75 millimeter needle, and it fits really, really well. But not only increasing needle size, but I found out that using a 9-inch circular for the color work section really increased my tension, made it looser. So it fits really, really well, and I'm excited to wear those this winter. Do what?
A yellow one?
Okay. I also did, which is in the pattern, a slip stitch heel flap and gusset. And I do not remember how many rows I did for the foot, but I'm pretty sure it was like 47 or 48. And she did a rounded toe in the pattern, and they fit really, really nice. So again, I'm excited to wear these. I think they will be super cute over like leggings and some short top boots. Really cute, I think. So I'm excited to wear those this winter. Okay, now let's just stick with socks. My next finished object was another pair of socks that I started last year. Let me take them out of here, put them on some blockers. Okay, these are the Florida Girls Sport Socks by Bonnie Doty, a free pattern on Ravelry. I started these last year in 2022 for Sock Week, which is a week-long knit along or make along, because you can crochet socks too, hosted by Knitty Natty. I did not finish them last year. I did not finish them this year during Sock Week, but I did get them finished, and I believe these were a submission for Summer Sock Camp too. So again, this is the Florida Girl Sport Socks by Bonnie Doty. She only has one size available for these, which is a 64 stitch count sock. I don't remember if I noticed it last year, but you start out with the 64 stitches on a US size 0 2 millimeter. This was the first time I had done 64 stitches, so I stuck with the size 1 all the way, or I'm sorry, size 0 all the way throughout the sock. But it has a hemmed cuff, or I guess is what you call it. And this is the one that I made last year. And then these are kind of like, I don't know if you call them like peekaboo shorties, but it's ones that barely show over the top of a tennis shoe, if at all. But anyway, and then there is a Eye of Partridge heel. And then part of the reason why I wanted to make this sock last year is because with this gray yarn, it reminded me of a shark. And these purl ridges were in the photo that she uses. However, when I got to past the heel flap and gusset decreases and everything, I thought, where's these purl ridges? And so I looked at the picture, and then underneath it in very, very tiny print says that it's not a pattern feature. So I thought, well, I have to have that pattern feature. That's why I wanted this pattern. So I added my own. Again, these are the socks that I made last year. So I believe it was a total of 10 purl ridges. And I did 2 rounds of just knit stitches in between each one. I did 5 ridges. However, after I finished, this is the second sock I made this year. After I finished them and tried them on, I realized there was a significant, you can't tell this. I don't know why my light is like almost putting a haze over this. But anyway, long story short, I only did 1 round of knits in between these purl sections. So it's, you know, basically half the size that it was. I also don't remember how many rounds are on this foot. I just typically try socks on. I do obviously cuff down, and when I do them magic loop, I feel like I'm able to try them on because the needles that I use the Chalgu with the red lace cables, are so flexible that I can try the sock on a cuff down sock, no problem. And I typically go until right where for a 1.5 inch toe, or no, I can't remember if this was 1.5 or 2 inch. I'm gonna say 1.5, but if it's a 1.5 inch toe, I go right to the tippy toe of my little pinky toe, my baby toe. And if it's a 2 inch toe, I go right to kind of the base of my toes where they just start to separate. I don't know what that section is called, but right there. But I'm pretty sure these may have been a 2 inch because it's just a simple rounded toe. So the yarn that I used, this main color gray, is let me find my label here, Knit Picks Stroll Fingering Weight in the color Ash, and this is a 75-25 base, superwash merino and nylon. And then my contrast color here is a mini skein that I got from Southern Skeins in their December 2021 sock box. It is the color Frosty. So that is my second finished object.
You want more about it?
Okay, my third finished object is another pair of socks. And I'm fairly certain these were done just in time for sock week to make 3 pairs. I definitely had 3 pairs, but I can't remember if this was the 3rd pair or if I showed some on a different podcast. I can't remember. I think I'm going to leave the second one off so that you can see all the details. Okay, so this is the, I don't have my ends woven in yet. None of these are blocked or anything. I just need to have a big blocking day. But this is the Crisscross Socks test knit. From Darcy of Chitchat Knits. And here is, excuse me, what it looks like. It is the first cables I have ever done. And of course, she made it super easy to do. And I did do these with a cable needle, just because they were the first ones I've done and that's what I was most comfortable with, but you could easily do them without cable needles. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so here are the details. Again, typically always a US size 1, 2.25. Okay. So here are the details on the Crisscross socks. A US size 1, 2.25 millimeter needle. These are a 56 or 60, I think 56 stitch count sock. I did probably 15 to 20 rounds. I'm just gonna say 15 rounds on the cuff. Speaking of which, if I don't answer something in full, please feel free to leave a comment and ask a question, or I always link the Ravelry project pages, and those I put notes in like as soon as it happens so that I don't forget. But anyway, that is always available to you. So again, I believe it was 15 rounds on the cuff, which looks like it was a twisted rib. And then for the leg, I did 3 of the crisscross patterns, but then on the leg, or the back of the leg, it is a rib pattern. So it is really stretchy, very nice. I've never had a ribbed sock before, but this is really nice. And I thought, I can't be doing this right. Look how tiny it is, but it stretches very nicely. And then slip stitch, heel flap and gusset. And then the back of the leg, or I'm sorry, the back of the foot is just stockinette, and the front of the foot continues in the rib, and it all lines up very nicely. Darcy is very good about attention to detail with those types of things. And then a rounded toe. Actually, is it a rounded toe or is it a wedge? I'm not sure, but it's her typical toe and it fits my foot beautifully. I believe this was also a 47 or 48 round foot, but I have a child size foot, so that's what fits me. Doesn't seem like very much, but anyway, so this is that sock. But oh, we didn't talk about the yarn. Oh my goodness. Okay, so these are gonna be my like fall socks. I think these would also be really cute over leggings and a low top boot. I don't know what those are called. I have 2 pairs of them, but and that's typically what I wear in the fall, but I can't, and all through the winter, but I can't remember what it's called right now. Anyway, so the yarn, I cannot remember, actually, hold on. I can't remember if I did these on a 9-inch circular or not. I was sure I did them on Magic Loop, but in my project bag, I have 2 size 1, 2.25 millimeter 9-inch circular, so I don't remember if that's what I used or not. And actually, look how cute this is. This is a cute little project bag. It was a Mother's Day gift from the church that we sometimes go to, and it says, "She speaks wisely, teaching with gracious love," Proverbs 31:26. That was so cute and so nice of them. Anyway, but the yarn, this orangey color yarn, is more Southern Skeins Sock Club. This was from November 2021 sock box, and it is in the color Red Rock Canyon, and it is a 75-25 base superwash merino and nylon. And the nylon says 4-ply. I don't know what that means. I mean, I've heard of different plies, but I don't know what plies are. So, in case that is relevant to you, there's that information. Okay, my last finished object, excuse me, I got fuzz, yarn fuzz in my nose. The last project is not blocked, but this is another Chitchat Knits test knit. This is the Spesh Cowl. And she designed this to go with a special skein, a single skein of yarn that you have. It starts with a rolled, neck cuff, and has this beautiful slip stitch ribbing. I don't remember what she called it. And it goes into a V with a rolled bottom hem, and it is bandana style, as you can see. Now, as I said, I have not blocked this, so I am fully expecting this to definitely stretch out. So let's see. It is a smaller cowl, not very long, but like I said, it is meant to have this rolled edge. And I think this will stretch out, but it'll be very, very warm right there. And oh, sorry, these are falling out here. And the yarn that I used, I don't have the label in this bag, I don't think, because I'm using it for one of my works in progress. Ooh, that I will show. No, I don't have it. The needles I used, I think, are a US size 6 4mm. I think next time I test a cowl, 4mm doesn't seem right. No, I think I use that for, when you're working in the round to keep the stitches loose. I think I used a US size 4 3.5mm needle, but when you're working in the round, the left needle can be bigger to keep the stitches more loose and more even. So I think that's why I have that on there. But anyway, so that's that. And this was a Hobby Lobby, their hand painted yarn line. I think it's authentic hand dyed, and I'm pretty sure the color is called Myriad of Lights. It's a fingering weight yarn, size 1, and it is 100% superwash merino, which is why I thought it was perfect for a cowl, because I don't know how durable. Maybe you can let me know in the comments, because I've never made 100% superwash merino socks. So I don't know if they would hold up very well, or if you could just do the heel and toe in like a contrasting yarn with nylon in it. Maybe that would work. I don't know. But anyway, so those are my finished objects in the past couple of months, and we will go ahead and get into works in progress. Okay, my first work in progress, I can't show the whole thing because it is a secret test knit. It's already completed, but I haven't heard about the pattern being released or that we are now allowed to share anything. So it was, again, a secret test knit by Stacey Lewis, who is the knitting tutor. So I will just show the back of it. It is a very, it is kind of a lacy pattern, and to me, it just needed this pink color. So it is a toe up sock. So it was the first toe up sock I've done for myself. Obviously the back is stockinette, so that's why I'm able to show you this. The heel is a, I don't know if it's called a modified shadow wrap heel. She uses triple stitches. It's the first one that I have done for myself, and then you finish with a twisted rib cuff. I don't know that I'm going to make the second one yet, because this one, she must be a very loose knitter, because the stitch counts were completely different. I probably should have either gone up a size or gone up a needle size, but I'm gonna see how this reacts when it is blocked, because if so, then I will make the second one, because it really is a very beautiful pattern. The yarn I actually borrowed from my Carla's garden shawl, which I have not touched in a long time, so I'm not even going to bother showing you that. But there's a flower section, textured section in that pattern, and this is the yarn I'm using for that. So I borrowed this yarn from that pattern. I think I should have enough though, for that, hopefully. If not, then I'll just undo this sock and do it in a different color. But anyway, this is Knit Picks. I can't remember what it's called. I almost want to say it's like Capri or something. It's the color Blush, but it's a fingering weight yarn, cashmere and nylon, and it is so soft. Really, really like this yarn, and hope to have more at some point in time. So that is my first work in progress. That is a secret test knit that I can't show, but here it is. Oh, before that though, before I go on to the next one, the thing with this heel is, I can't remember if I said it, but this is the first time I've made like a shadow wrap heel for myself. So if it stretches out to where it actually goes over my heel, then I am excited to see how that fits, because it was so much quicker than a heel flap and gusset, which fits me the best. Of the ones so far that I have tried, I really would like to try the Fish Lips Kiss heel, but I am so intimidated by like a 19-page pattern that I haven't even gotten to the actual pattern section yet, because the rest of it is just so overwhelming. But anyway, I do hope to do that at some point. My next work in progress, I'm going to go ahead and show now, because it uses the yarn from the Special cowl that I showed you, the Hobby Lobby authentic hand-dyed yarn. I thought that will be my main cowl for the winter, and then I would make some matching gloves, fingerless mitts, I guess is what it is. So Jana from Purl Together is having a knit along for the Pioneer gloves, which are really fingerless mitts, and I have finished the entire mitt for the left hand, and am just now on I'm gonna start the left thumb. This is a free pattern on Ravelry by McClure, and I'll just show this one. So before I got to the thumb section, I think I did, I'll count it real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I think the pattern says you work to so many inches. I can't really remember. She gives like 2 sizes, and I kind of wanted somewhere in between the two, or not sizes, the 2 lengths. I am making the size small, and so my cuff right here is to my wrist is 30 rounds, and then it's really neat the way the gusset, I don't know if you can see, kind of veers off on the palm to the thumb, which is really neat. I have my thumb on some scrap yarn, and then this section right here, I just did 20 rounds from this blue marker up. It's just 20 rounds, and I did the bind off in the rib pattern, And that is it. So I'm gonna finish the thumb and then go on to the right hand, and I thought these would work out really well. Yes, I will skip ads. I thought this would work out really well to match my cowl for the winter. I lost my gloves last year. Actually, I lost my coat. I'm pretty sure I dropped it in a parking lot, and my gloves were, I always kept my gloves in the pockets. So, so I definitely needed new gloves. So here is the yarn. Oh wait, I don't have the yarn label. Okay, so I guess we just won't have a yarn label for the authentic hand-dyed yarn because I don't know where it is. But here it is in the skein. And I used a US size, I did magic loop, US size 2.75 millimeter needle, and it works up really fast. Okay, my next work in progress is actually, I guess, like a half finished object. It is another test knit from Michaeli of Breaking Yarn. This is the Walter White socks. This has gotten the majority of my time. So I did not even get the test knit email. Okay. So I did not even get the call email, test knit call email until like, I'm pretty sure it was a week later, because for some reason it went to my spam folder, and I am horrible about checking my spam. So I randomly did it and saw the test and emailed her and said, do you have all of the testers you needed? Which I knew she would have, because she always fills her test spots. And she said, yes, but if you want to test it, you can. So I was like, oh, thank you. I'm so thrilled. So again, this is the Walter White sock from Michaeli of Breaking Yarn, which for some reason is not fitting my, it definitely needs blocked because it is a little tight, and I'm not sure I like the yarn, but here it is. It is a beautiful pattern. It has these big chunky cables, obviously used with a test or a cable needle. I did a US size 2.25 millimeter. This is a 64 stitch count sock. She increased all of her typical pattern sizes or socks sizes by 4 stitches to account for the tightness of the cable. I did 15 rounds of the cuff here. I did 2. These are my 2 leg cables. It has a slip stitch heel flap and gusset, and then I did another 3 complete. These 3 complete repeats on the foot, plus a little more than half for the final one, and then a rounded toe. So the yarn, let's talk about it. I think my face says it all. I'm not really crazy about this yarn. I'll be honest. It is Knit Picks Chroma fingering weight in the color Mermaid. It is a 70/30 base, and for Knit Picks, I'm really disappointed. I mean, I'll just be honest. It feels soft and fine and everything, but as far as working it, it is very inconsistent, and maybe I just got a bad skein. I don't know. This is 100 grams, by the way. It's very like I said, inconsistent. There were sections of it that were really thick, and then there's sections like this that is like a normal size thin. There were parts of it that were like almost felted against, maybe because it was rubbing against the inside of the donut thingy here. I don't know, but it was not, it was okay working with it. Like, it's not my favorite, and I was like, oh, this is pretty disappointing. But then I had some trouble on the heel. I don't know why, but I could not get the correct heel count for after you do the decrease, excuse me, the decreases. And ripping it back was absolutely horrid. I mean, these are, you know, it is what it is. It's first world problems. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot worse things going on in the world than, you know, not fun yarn. But I don't know. Anyway, but I was like, the only saving grace is the color. But then it had like this random section here, and I was like, what is that? And I think it was trying to get into this section, but it wasn't. Obviously wasn't very much. I was glad to know at least I was finishing a little bit of a toe with some color. I'm hoping that when I do the second sock, there's another green section on the inside. If I can just undo the whole donut and reverse it so that it semi-matches. Personally, it probably wouldn't bother me if it doesn't match, but it just, I don't know. I just was hoping for more out of this yarn, but it is what it is. It's not horrible. This just like kind of threw me off. I was like, what is that? I don't know. At least if it had been, you know, a bigger section of it, like that would have been okay. But anyway, again, it is what it is. So that is that sock and project. And my next work in progress, I'm going to show this. My next work in progress is I finally got going on a Musselburgh hat for my husband. I think I'm going to restart it on, right now I'm using size, what is this, a size maybe 3.25 millimeter. And I don't know if that's just too, I'm getting 7 stitches per inch. I just don't know if that's, let me know your opinion if you've made these before. This is a fingering weight yarn. Other ones I've seen were not this, I guess, loose. So maybe I should go down to I don't think I have a 3 millimeter needle, so maybe a 2.75 millimeter. Little lady's behind me. I'm trying to keep her where she's not shown. But she was insistent. Whoops. On not getting out of my way. So the yarn I'm using is this blue. It is Huntington Valley yarns in the color blue. I did the crocheted pinhole cast on by Nitty Natty. And again, I may restart this on a smaller needle size. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Is this too loose for a Musselburgh hat? I don't know.
Maybe we play ball with my basketball.
Okay.
After we've done recording.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. Okay. My last work in progress will go into future projects. I decided, I don't know why, that I would make my mother-in-law, 2 sisters-in-laws, and 2 nieces socks for Christmas. So I started the first one. All of them have, my mother-in-law has the smallest foot at a 7.5, but my husband's two sisters and the nieces all have a 9.5 inch, or they wear a size 9.5 shoe. So I have to figure out, you know, how long to make that. But anyway, so this is the first sock. This is for the 16-year-old niece. Sky from Paw Patrol is making an appearance. So this is just a vanilla pattern. I'm loosely going off numbers from other socks that I've made. So I cast on 64 stitches. I did I'm pretty sure this is a 15 round cuff, and I am just going, I don't even know how many stitches I have right now. Or not stitches, rounds. So this is 10, 20, I'm probably at about 35 or 40 right now. I've heard the crazy sock lady say her sock legs are like anywhere from 50 to 60 stitches. So I thought I would measure at 50. If you typically make a 64 stitch count fingering weight sock, let me know how many rounds or how many inches you do for the leg. For just kind of a mid-size, I don't want it too tall leg. But anyway, I am using the US size 1, 2.25 millimeter magic loop, of course. And the yarn I'm using is Cascade Yarns Heritage Prints in the color, it just says color 77, but it's very pretty. I thought this would be a good color choice for a 15 or 16-year-old girl. It is a 75-25 base. It is really soft and really nice to work with. I am enjoying it. This has pretty much been my on-the-go knitting. We went to, well, I'll get into the life section in a little bit, but anyway, this pretty much has been my on-the-go knitting. So this is the first pair. Let me go get the other yarns that I will show you and that I can hopefully cast on soon. So I thought I would bring out the yarns for the other niece and the two sister-in-laws. So the other niece she's just about to turn 20 in October, and her color palette is very like similar to mine, with like kind of the teals and stuff. I see. Okay, so I thought I would use this Regia, and this is the color I don't know what color it is. Oh, Clematis, I think. This is the way it works up. Has like greens and blues and purples, and I thought she would like this. And I'm pretty sure she wears like Doc Marten type boots, and so this is a very sturdy feeling sock. It is a 75 virgin wool and 25% polyamide base, so I thought she would like that. And then my mother-in-law, my husband picked out these two, or it's the same color. I had these two skeins though. He picked these out for her because it has a little bit of color but is mainly like neutrals, and he thought she would like that more. These are Patton's Croy socks in the color Turquoise Jacquard. So my mother-in-law will be getting these. One sister-in-law, I didn't really know a color scheme for her, so she actually will be getting DK socks. This is West Yorkshire Spinners Air Valley DK in the color doesn't say a color. I feel like it was unicorn something though when I bought it last year. Anyway, so these are DK socks. She will be getting those, and I was thinking since they're DK that maybe I would make them more like slipper socks. So I was thinking possibly the slipperoo pattern slippers from Darcy of Chitchat Knits. Undecided about that. The next sister lives in Colorado, and I actually thought about doing these for her because she would need like a thicker sock, but she really loves like fall colors and orange. So I had this other skein. I'm almost positive I had a second skein. I was gifted this, but for some reason they weren't together, so I'm gonna dig through all my yarn and get that. But this is Patton's Croy in the color Dad's Jacquard, and I thought as a contrast I would use, this was that Red Rock Canyon from Southern Skeins. I thought I would do, this is only 50 grams, so in the off chance that I do not have enough for full sock, which again she wears like a 9.5 shoe size, wouldn't that only be like one sock for this? But I have this plus a sock that I was gonna unravel that I did a test knit for Sorry Nordland last year that I did not want to make the second sock for. I thought I would definitely have enough for heels and toes. And then maybe I could, even cuffs, and I could make this work. I don't know. But I'm almost positive there was a second one of these, but I'm going to have to dig through all of I have all my yarn in a yarn tote, so it's just possible that it got mixed up all the different times that I've gone in to get yarn. But anyway, so those are the yarns that I got out for those Christmas presents, and I just put them all in my Carla Knits bag to hold on to, and that is what I want to, that's going to be my immediate cast-ons. However, I've really been wanting a cardigan. The Crazy Sock Lady is making a beautiful cardigan, but then also someone on Ravelry, one of my friends, and I'm almost positive it was you, Carla, favorited a Lion brand cardigan. It was a free pattern, and I was like, I think that's totally what I'm looking for. So I favored it, and I've already got it. I put all of my active patterns that I'm using in the Apple Books app, because you can save PDFs on there, and so that's how I know what I'm actively working on without having to go into Ravelry every time to like save the pattern. So I have it in there, and it is a worsted weight cardigan, and I've gone back and forth because I have a bunch of Lion brand, I think is it Heartland that's the worsted weight, or is that the size 6? Whatever the size 6 is. I didn't get the yarn out to bring in with me, but it's in the color, I think, Cuyahoga Valley or Cuyahoga Falls, something like that, and it's this beautiful rich green, and I think it would be easy to replace if I don't have enough. I think I have 5 skeins of that. I was gonna originally make a weekender with it. So I've gone back and forth, but another possibility I had was just making it completely scrappy with all of my worsted weight acrylic scraps that I have, which most of it is Red Heart Super Saver, and I thought I could do that, or if I want it to be cohesive, I could do, which is probably what I'm gonna do, the Lion Brand yarn. It's a Lion Brand pattern, so I thought that would be fine. I really want to start that. And then last night I was watching Carla's podcast, which if you don't know who Carla Nett's podcast is, she's a dear friend of mine. She is usually linked down below in the description section, but I will make sure she is this time. She started another Love Note to have like a winter version, and I thought that would be really nice. I really want to make a ranunculus, like a black ranunculus, so I'm like really trying to restrain from starting those, because I still have, in addition to everything I showed you, I still have my Carla's Garden shawl that I have not worked on. There is another shawl that I was testing for Darcy. What is the name of it? I can't remember what it's called right now, but I have not finished that yet. It is a bright pink and white that looks like ocean waves, but I cannot remember the name of it right now. I still haven't finished that. I still have not finished my Musselburgh hat. I would like to finish. I'm making a DK one, so it should not have taken this long at all. Anyway, and so there's just so many things. I told Carla in her comment section, we need to make knitting our full-time jobs, because there's just so many things we want to make and never enough time. And I get more time than most, being a stay-at-home mom. So anyway, okay, let's move on. So before I get into my acquisitions, I actually had a question from Susan. Hi, Susan. That she was inquiring about a cowl I tested last year for Darcy of Chitchat Knits. This has been a while, so you've probably already made this and figured out your own answer. Susan, I definitely apologize. But anyway, she was inquiring about the Slipmore cowl, I believe is what it was called, and asked how I liked this shorter style. Now, it's a cowl, and so honestly, if I remember right, I left out a section, so mine, or a repeat, so mine is probably even shorter than what most people's would be. This is a DK weight cowl, and I am a short person, so for me, I have no problem with the shorter length cowl. Here it is. It has this beautiful section. If you are not comfortable having a shorter length cowl, it is very, very easy to just do more repeat sections. You could also go up 1 or 2 needle sizes. That would make it bigger and longer. But for me, at the time she asked the question, I hadn't even put this back on to even know what it was like. But when I got it back out, I was like, oh, I really like this. So, yeah, I have no problem with it being, you know, a shorter bandana style cowl. No problems for me. I really enjoy it. It's very soft. And like I said, it would be very easy to repeat these sections. I don't remember how many rows they were, but Darcy never does too many, and her patterns are always easily adaptable. So I would say either repeat these sections or go up in 1 or 2 needle sizes, and that would be no problem. It is warm though, so I'm going to go and take this off. Now, the acquisitions, I very rarely have acquisitions, but this time I do. So the first acquisition that I have started with you know, when you get something, we were ordering from Walmart and we needed like $3 more to get the free shipping. So my husband was like, you want to look for some yarn? So I was like, sure. So it ended up being $8, which is still a pretty good deal. And the reason I got it I must have misread it, ended up not being correct, but I'll get into that in a minute. This is Red Heart, Heart and Soul, and it has aloe in it. So I thought that was very intriguing. And when I order, it is a size 1 fingering weight yarn. And the reason I chose this one was because I could have swore I read where it was nylon and acrylic, 100% acrylic yarn, and that is what intrigued me much more than the aloe. I don't know what the aloe does. If anyone has ever used this, I don't know if it makes it easier to work with, because it's actually pretty, I mean, it feels rustic, but it's actually pretty nice. So I am eager, it is, to work with it. It's a 50-gram ball, which would get me like a pair of shorties. But when I got it, it actually says that it is, oh, and this is the color Faded Jeans. Sorry about that. It says that it's actually, where did I see it? 70% superwash wool and 30% nylon. So, it was not acrylic like I thought it was. But anyway, I am excited to work with that, and we got the free shipping. The next yarn that I got was, I did the test for Michaeli, and she's always very generous and gives a discount code for her testers. So I went ahead and bought some yarn from her. This is Breaking Yarn, and this is in the color Breaking Princess. It is her sock fingering base. It is a 75 superwash wool and 25% nylon 4-ply yarn, and she sent a cute little progress keeper as well. And this is really beautiful. It has this bright pink and this purple. No idea what I'm gonna make with it, but it will be really special, whatever it is.
Can you make me some green socks and a green shirt?
Okay, so I had already gotten that, and then
I'll make me a green dress.
okay, and then I didn't think about it at the time. I had been wanting that.
Toys.
Okay, I had been wanting that Breaking Princess yarn for a while, so I just immediately got that. But if you've seen Michaeli's podcast, when she showed her Walter White sample socks, they're green, and I really liked the green, but I knew I wasn't gonna have time to make my socks in that green, but I had to have green yarn anyway, so I ordered from Webs. I think, did I get it from Webs? No, I think I got it on Amazon. Yeah, I did. Who did I get this with? I've already taken the tag or receipt thing out. But anyway, it's Cascade Yarns Heritage, which is a 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon. This is in the color number 5656. And I don't know, I just might make some Christmas socks or something. I'm not sure. I just decided I really needed green yarn. So I have that. And then the last thing I got is this huge thing of Red Heart Super Saver in the color Bright Yellow. And I got this because little lady has been asking, although just now she asked for green, but she has been asking for mittens, a hat, and a dress in yellow. So I thought this will never make all those projects, but it was on sale at my local Walmart, so I thought I'll just go ahead and grab one of these huge skeins and get as much as I can out of it, obviously starting with the hat and mittens. So that is all of my acquisitions. It'll be fun to see what I make with all those because I don't know. And a little bit of life in the past couple of months. Let's see. Trying to remember. Last time I podcast was the end of July. The only thing I can really remember in August, we had a really nice kind of staycation. We went and stayed at just one of our local hotels for one night. Turtle loves staying at hotels, so that was kind of a treat for him. So that was really fun, and we went to we ordered one of our favorite burger places before we went to the room and ate that, and it was really fun, and just spent all day and late into the night in the pool there, and the kids just loved that. So that was really, really fun. And then what else have we done? Last week we went to Cincinnati for the day, Cincinnati, Ohio, to the Newport Aquarium, and that was for little lady primarily. Since an infant, she has shown a great interest in like all things ocean, and so she loved being there. It was kind of full circle. It's the third time we've been there, but the last time we went was 4 years ago, over Memorial Day weekend, and we went on Memorial Day, which we would never do again. But that night when we came home is when we found out I was pregnant with little lady. So it was kind of nice because even though we didn't know it at the time, when we went that day, I was pregnant, and it was kind of like all 5 of our family, which is me, my husband, it was Burger and Turtle at the time, and I was pregnant with little lady, so it was kind of all 5 of us. And then when we went this time, it was kind of bittersweet because it was a really good thing for little lady because she loved it, but Burger wasn't there this time, and so it was kind of bittersweet. But we had a really great time and spent all day there and made it safely home that night. And just kind of took a break from YouTube. In August, I started mentally kind of preparing myself for this season of life, I think. And I just didn't have the mental energy to podcast, and there were other things that I wanted to get done. But a couple of weeks ago would have been Burger's 19th birthday, and it was just a really hard time. We had plans when he was little. We used to always go take him to the zoo. He loved the zoo when we lived in Alabama, so we went every year on his birthday. And we had plans to do that this year, but little lady was sick. We think she had roseola, so that got changed. In fact, we had rescheduled to go to the zoo today, but Turtle is sick with the cold, but we didn't, that would have been a miserable time for him, but it worked out. I think it ended up raining up north in Indianapolis anyway. But anyway, so it's just mentally been kind of draining on me, I think, but I don't know why. I guess it was just because it was his first birthday without him. I can't believe he would have been 19. That just blows my mind. My husband and I don't feel old enough to have a 19-year-old. Yeah, so anyway, that is that. We're trying to reschedule to go to the zoo. A couple of weeks ago, I did get to have a Zoom knitting with some friends, hosted with Carla from Carla Knits Podcast. If you're interested in meeting other knitters, I know myself, my mother-in-law knits, but not to the enthusiasm that I do. So she probably gets bored when I try talking to her about it. So it's nice to have other enthusiastic knitters. So if you are interested in that, I know Carla would love for you to join her Ravelry group, and she posts a link to her Zoom knitting whenever she's able to have that. So I will post Carla's podcast link, because I totally think you should check her out. I love her. Oh, and Darcy, she also has a podcast now in a Ravelry group. So I'll post both of them, because you're gonna hear me talk about both of them, like a lot if you're new. In fact, Darcy is having a make-along starting, I think, October 1st, which actually would be perfect if I end up starting my husband's hat over. It is an ear warmers make-along, so anything that covers the ears, a hat, or, like the bandanas, headbands, any of that would fit that. Anyway, I will post both of their information along, but I got sidetracked. I will post Carla's Ravelry group, both of theirs, but she always opens up her Zooms to anyone that is interested in her within her Ravelry thread. So yeah, so that is it. I hope you are doing well. I have not read anything. I have not really gotten to watch anything. I think I did watch one episode of Heartland. And that's my favorite show. I love that show. And it's the only show that I really get to watch if I watch it on my phone. So anyway, that is it. I hope you're doing well. If you are still with me at the end of this, I've had so many clips. I have no idea how long this is going to be. I am really hoping to not go more than 2 weeks again between podcasts. I'm hoping this is a return for me. We will see. It just depends on time and things going on. But anyway, Sandy, if you're watching, get a hold of me. I would love to gift you that a pattern for the sock stash along. Or did I name it stash sock along? I can't remember, but anyway, if that's also something you're interested, I will have all the details and the link down below to the TurtleBurger podcast Ravelry group. I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.